fructose triggers fibromyalgia. So let's get to it. So we're going to get right into things. So 95% of people who have fibromyalgia have food intolerances, according to talks, forums, summits, and interviews that I have listened to. And this is coming from doctors that specialize in fibromyalgia. So to me, it makes perfect sense because although doctors still think, a majority of Western doctors still think that fibromyalgia is neurological, meaning your nerves, my research shows it's digestive, meaning our small intestine. Bottom line, that is why you are still sick. Doctors are so focused on treating your nerves, which most of the time doesn't work, that they aren't learning the new studies about how we suffer from gut dysbiosis, meaning our intestinal tract is all jacked up, right? So one way is a fructose intolerance. So most of this talk I am going to directly quote and obviously give credit to a report from the NCBI, which is the National Center for Biotechnology Information. So biotechnology is technology based on biology. Biotechnology harnesses cell molecules in our bodies to develop technologies and products that help improve our lives and our health. So the name of this, I guess you would call it paper that I am going to be referencing is called Fibromyalgia Syndrome, a metabolic approach grounded in biochemistry for the remission of symptoms, okay? So, this article is going to be on my website, butyoulucksohealthy.com on Thursday, and there you will be able to find the link for the NCBI article. So then you'll know that I'm not messing with you, I'm not lying, and all of this is based in new science. So in this article, they talk a lot about fructose. So basically, fructose is all forms of natural sugar, especially sugars found in fruits and honey. So it is also found in high fructose corn syrup, which is kind of like the crack cocaine of sugar. So this article also talks about serotonin, which is also referred to as 5-HT or 5-hydroxytryptamine. It also references L-tryptophan, called TRP, and several other neurotransmitters and how they affect the brain when they are absorbed into the body. So, but remember, absorption happens in the gut. Also, meaning basically the small intestine. It cannot affect your brain until it is absorbed through your small intestine first. So our gut is where the real magic happens from fibromyalgia, not the brain. This is why our number one trigger is the foods that we eat. So please, no death threats, because I have gotten them before. And no, I am not a doctor. And that's okay, because I'm not diagnosing you or treating your disease. I am educating you as a good health coach should. You deserve to know why you are not getting better. So, our gut is a complex place. It's called our second brain. It houses most of our immune system and neurotransmitters that our brain uses, like serotonin. So serotonin is the key hormone that stabilizes our mood, our feelings of well-being and happiness. It impacts our entire body. It helps our brain cells and other nervous system cells to communicate with each other. Serotonin also helps with sleeping, eating, and digestion. So low levels of serotonin have been shown to cause fibromyalgia symptoms. Our gut makes up to 95% of our serotonin that is used by the brain. So let me repeat that. Our gut, meaning our small intestine, manufactures, creates 95% of our serotonin that is used by the brain. Okay? So if you have ever been prescribed an SSRI and it hasn't worked for you, that's because you don't have enough serotonin in your gut to be used. So you can't reuptake what isn't there. Very interesting. So a lot of this is some technical jargon, and I'm going to try to kind of bust through it so I don't lose you too much. But the transport of fructose into and out of the cells in the body is mediated by 3 different proteins called GLUT5, GLUT2, and GLUT7 transporters. So most of this happens in different parts of the small intestine. Different factors may influence the absorption of free fructose. So alterations in functional capability of GLUT5 may influence the absorption efficiency, and a role might also be played by dietary intake of fructose and sucrose too, that influence the transport of it. So co-ingestion, meaning eating at the same time, of glucose or galactose considerably enhances fructose absorption activating mechanism. It's broken, basically. Fructose malabsorption is characterized by the inability to absorb fructose efficiently. So as a consequence, fructose, you eat it, it goes down, it gets into your colon where it's broken down by bacteria to short fatty acids, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, methane, and lactic acid. As a quick side note, this is some of the stuff that they test for when you have SIBO. And according to another study, 100% of people that have fibromyalgia have SIBO, and that is treatable. So it also causes bloating, cramps, osmotic diarrhea, and other symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. So most people are asymptomatic, so they don't even know that they have a fructose malabsorption. So how you react to fructose depends on your own personal tolerance. Everyone is different, okay? So symptoms of fructose malabsorption may be exacerbated by the sugar alcohol sorbitol. So during our 5-day challenge, we will be eliminating sorbitol in our challenge also. We're going to be eliminating all of those sugars. We're going to not have any sugar alcohols. And I don't promote sugar alcohols at all when you have fibromyalgia. I know it sucks, but you just have to learn to live without whatever food you're having that has sugar alcohols in it. It is so bad for your gut, and it's the reason why you get the bubble guts. And I'm sure you want to get rid of that too, right? So let's work on that also. So to make the neurotransmitter serotonin that is mostly made in our gut, we need tryptophan. You know, like the tryptophan is the stuff that when you eat turkey at Thanksgiving, you get sleepy. Oh yeah, that's tryptophan. Or it's also in milk and dairy. So remember, they believe that low levels of serotonin contribute to fibromyalgia symptoms. So there's all this stuff, lower plasma, TRP, tryptophan concentrations, and they're observed in people with fructose malabsorption, and higher scores of people that had a fructose malabsorption had depression and compared to people that had normal fructose absorption. So it was proposed that fructose malabsorbers have greater probability for forming non-absorbable fructose due to the presence of high fructose concentrations in the gut. As a consequence, not only fructose, but also TRP is absorbed to a lesser extent, meaning it's not absorbed like it should be. So even though fructose concentrations remain low compared with glucose concentrations, it was not excluded that the large percentage increases in serum fructose or sucrose might have clinical consequences, meaning those could be players in the game too. So basically this means glucose could be a player in the game too, along with sucrose. So why is this such a big deal? So you can't absorb fructose or sucrose or sorbitol or glucose and all the other oses and all the weird stuff, right? All your sugary things. So there are several reasons, but according to this paper, malabsorption of fructose, possibly glucose, decreases the absorption of L-tryptophan. So after absorbing, you eat, after absorbing the L-tryptophan from food, our bodies convert it to 5-HTP and then to serotonin, which is 5-TP. So the distance, and this is a whole bunch of jargon. I'm going to just really, because you're going to be like, wait, what? I'm going to lose you. It's very losable. So according to this, the distance among symptoms of FMS, which is fibromyalgia syndrome, is only apparent in the common denominator among them, which is clearly the 5-HT, which is serotonin. Serotonin plays a leading role in the human body, regulating critical functions. So listen to all these things that serotonin regulates and all the things that coincide and that are symptoms of fibromyalgia, okay? So besides pain sensitivity and sensory function, mood and cognition, sleep and sex, appetite, emesis, which is throwing up, endocrine function, gastrointestinal function, motor function, and just the list goes on. All things that we have problems when we have fibro, right? So it's clear that an impairment of serotonin pathway has great potential for triggering a disease condition involving different apparatuses, different parts of your body. Basically, I usually say that, you know, when you have fibro, your whole body's broken. So there's science out there that proves what Joanna says. So, since serotonin is synthesized from the essential amino acid tryptophan, an impairment in tryptophan absorption is expected to have an impact on serotonin synthesis, which is made 95% in your small intestine and only 5% up here. Interesting. So this is what it all means for fibromyalgia. Sugar stops production of serotonin and causes us pain. That is the bottom line. I'm going to say it again and listen. Sugar stops production of serotonin and causes us pain.